Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
Back at you and Gloves Off, and today we have a great guest and a great show, and we're touching base on businesses, how we can get these small businesses, what's going on with Laredo after the bad soup flu of 2020, and we're now in 2021, and we have here the illustrious Celestino Marina. How are we doing? We doing good?
So far, so good. Yes, alive. Okay, yeah, thank you for asking. How are you doing, though?
Doing good. Trying to move forward, trying to see which way everything's going to go. We're 5 months into 21, and it still looks the same as last November.
Yes, incredible, yes. But we as restaurants with our fund, let's see if we get it. It's going to be coming as a grant. Some people, with the deductions if you receive the PPP, so let's see what happens, and hopefully that help will come through and probably will help us support and pay our purveyors and people that have believed in us for all these years, because they also are in the same situation. It's not that they are helping us and at the same time somebody's helping them, because there's no other way to run a business right now. I mean, except you're in a trade, but some services you cannot trade. We have to serve food and that's it. But happy-go-lucky, I think that we have taken some very serious decisions. I had to close one restaurant, and when I wanted to reopen it, because nobody wanted to work because, of course, of the money that they've been getting, and they didn't answer their phone calls. But it is what it is, and looking forward that everybody understands, and people really touch their hearts and be honest with themselves and go forward with it. Because I mean, if we're here and we're still alive, it's because everybody get vaccinated because you want to be alive. So if you want to be alive, we have to try for life, not for destroying each other.
Number one, I'm sorry to hear about your restaurant. Because I know that you've been working on them for the longest time, and sure enough. But see, that's what's been going on with how can I say, the government. What we had. Small business owners were the ones that were affected the most.
Agreed. And blame them most.
And nobody talks about them. Nobody talks about the suicide rate that went on. We had a lot of them falling apart early on during the pandemic, and we have to move forward. And we helped out a lot of them. A lot of people have come up. A lot of groups have started up as support groups, but there's a difference. There's a fine line. Where's the chamber? Where's they were lost for all this stuff. I think the guy already left, the one from here. And there's just a lot of stuff that's going on. And what I see and what I regret the most is how the actual community treated small business owners. They hated them. And to me, it's a sign of, it looked kind of like Nazi Germany. Because if you opened up a business, you were hated, you were blackballed, you were... they cussed you out on social media, and it went on and on and on and on, and you're like...
With other reactions, but yes, a lot of other actions, but yes, more or less resembles the same.
And people say, no, it's not. And I go, what do you mean it's not? It's the same, it's mirrored,
Yeah, you just have to take different actions for other actions.
And you're like, let's not go into there, how can we cut this hate and stop it now? And how do we look positive about that? And one thing that me personally have done, especially with the school and getting things going out there, is enroll those that seem positive about life. Those that come in with negative attitudes, already putting restrictions, let them go somewhere else. I would, I'm with that old Chinese proverb, better to cut off a finger to save a hand. So if they're gonna come in here with all these restrictions, and you're not doing this, if you're too afraid for that, go somewhere else. Maybe.
No, I guess that way. You see, probably was a lack of money or whatever, but I believe not many restaurants did a lot of advertising, because the purpose of all this was not to get people out. for the people that were essentials, but the people knew that we were open here and things like that, but we never promoted the restaurant because that didn't help. And of course, we took a lot of precautions, and the people can go back to reports and everything, and they come back and see, what are the standings of each restaurant in cleanliness and neatness and all that stands for. And that's just a job you have to do. But using the sanitizers and all that, we go back for 15 years ago, at least in restaurants. Yeah. So it is what it is. But now, I don't think we need to blame anybody. Like you just said, let's cut the finger and let's move forward. But let us work and let us act and hear us. Because I believe that the more that you express yourself, a lot of people take it personal. And it's not personal, it's just the way it is. Black is black, white is white, red is red. I don't wanna tell you, I had to do this in order to do this, to become this, to get the red. No, it is what it is, and don't take it personal. Just move forward and let's act. And I guess that's the way we have to look at things now and move forward, because who we're gonna blame is not important anymore. How are we gonna get out safe enough? That's what is important. How are we going to get back our community, our constituents, our businesses? That you said, a lot of people committed suicide. A lot of people were very afraid. I'm going to be very honest. I'm right now. I'm talking to you very kind of happy-go-lucky, because I'm chemically balanced, like I said with my doctor. No, a dash of this for anxiety, for panic attacks, and all that. And finally, they came to the right point. And of course, to start having 30 pounds in less than 2 months. But it is what it is, no. Right now I'm alive, and that's one thing that I have to thank God, and focus on taking very strong decisions in order to survive. And that's it, plus on top of that, the corporation is closing, and we're not planning to close. That's another thing that affects us, at least in my franchise. That's one issue.
And you're absolutely correct. You're seeing a lot of companies just folding over, and those franchisees that bought into it, what's going to happen to them? A lot of them are going to end up becoming by themselves, like you have.
Yes,
and it's gonna. I guess it'll improve with time.
I believe so.
And it'll improve with time, because some ideas are better, and you have your own. You already know the area, so you can.
Or your niche. No,
right.
Your niche.
Yeah. Exactly. But how do you see the whole thing? How do you see the reaction of the city of Laredo, the municipality, the governing body? How did it behave towards small businesses, in your opinion?
It's hard to say. I'm not going to blame anybody. I guess it's all around the world, and it has happened to everybody. It happened in Spain, it has happened in Germany, it has happened in Mexico, it has happened around the world. So there's nothing to blame. But I'm not blaming anybody, but they have to take criticism well. When you say something, it's not to push somebody down. It's because you need help. And once we change that attitude that we're talking about XYZ representatives, it's going to change. I learned the lesson the hard way, because when I used to work for Hyatt, my general manager never said thank you. And in my God, I cry. I say, my God, I come from the Mexican culture, and everybody says thank you, please, and all that. My God, they're a bunch of jerks. Until I learned the lesson, I was expected to do the job, and for that expecting to do the job, I didn't mean any thank you. I was getting a check. Until I learned that, my life was happier at the Hyatt Regency where I used to work. And I guess it's the same in here. I think that we're lacking that commitment from them. I think they have a lot of things in their hands and in their tools. Some are leaving. Once that they are leaving, because they start working on their, what would you say, on the campaign again, if they want to run again or not, and they start forgetting about what the position is about. So they're, in a way, that's kind of neglecting us. Another thing that I'm very much concerned, and I don't know if everybody thinks the same way or not, is that, for example, I don't think we have the city council to go on the streets and clean the streets. I think it's a very high-paid employee from the city to be cleaning the streets, and on top of that, in 2 hours, you cannot clean any district at all. And I've been listening to the people at the restaurant, and they laugh. And I said, do they think that in 2 hours they're going to clean the city or their districts? But then again, you have to enforce by your position who is responsible to have those cleans there. Those streets and houses and patios clean. And if they don't have it clean, then use your power in order to have them clean. give them como se llama, notices or whatever, or call the garbage department and tell them, like you have to do this and you have to do that. I have to call them in order to pick up garbage and all that. But for me to have a city council picking up papers on a street for 2 hours, I don't think it's gonna cut it. For me.
I understand your rationale on that, and I see what they're trying to do. They're doing it for PR to kind of bring people together, kind of way, and it's good. But again, don't ask for volunteers, because the people, those employees in the trash collection department or the department that takes care of this, that they get paid pretty good money. They should be doing their jobs. Number one, if Laredo's not clean, it's because of them. I understand littering, and I understand people throw stuff, and I understand people do that, and we all have to start working on that. Pick up a can and throw it in the trash can when we see it, if it's in our way. But when you start teaching our kids, don't throw the can outside.
Yes,
all that stuff has to happen. But for you to say it's your duty to come volunteer, we need volunteers. No, you have well-paid employees. The city of Laredo pays its employees very well.
And don't you think that
you're like, really? You're doing what?
And don't you think that some constituents are so unhappy with the system or how they're treated that they do it on purpose? Probably, it's a way to be rebellious against the actions that somebody takes. Because whenever you have pride or are proud of whatever you live against, you maintain your area clean, no? So I don't know if that people do it on a rebellious job or whatever, because like it is what it is. Like right now, on top of everything, had the coldest weather we have had in years. That thank heaven we survived, but not we as people. We survived. We were able to eat. We were able to have the restaurant open, etc., etc., etc. Because nothing was delivered to Laredo. Very few items came delivered to Laredo. Thank heaven, and I'm going to tell you as for rockers, thank heaven for the small businesses. I managed to open the store with the small businesses, because you couldn't get anything from Sam's, from HEB, or anything, because everything was portion or regional. And the small businesses, the small carnicerias and all that, they were the ones that helped us a lot. Thank heaven for the small businesses. So we have to start thinking who we have to back up, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to open.
You're absolutely correct, and it's something that I kept saying all along. I go, you have to keep these small businesses. I have not gone to Walmart. I have not gone to those stores probably since before the COVID. Okay, I would seldom go anyway. But then when they started shutting down everybody else, and they were the only ones that were open, they were the only ones that could do this, they're the only ones, and they were gouging people, and you're like, really? So I kept going to the small stores, like you said, that's what I went.
Yes.
That's what I went, and people say, why'd you go there? I go, I'm going to support them. Oh, they're higher than the prices over here. Wait a minute. But they're the ones that, when a cheerleading group needs some money, they'll buy the raffles, or they buy the cartolina, or they're gonna go over here buy this, or so-and-so died, we need to do a plate sale. They're the ones that give you a prize for the plate sale. It's not Walmart, it's not HEB.
Or contribute to give you those things that you need in order to make the profit for the plate sale.
Absolutely.
Agree?
And people, and all of a sudden there were people who were going against them, and they go, no. There's another companies here. The silk screen shirts, they're all closed up. There's none that are valuable anyway, that you can, and I've been looking for some, and you call them and they don't answer, they don't call back, and I go, some of these are gonna flop. And so people need to start looking to see what Laredo needs to invest in those.
You have a lot of boutiques, some of them that have gone out of their way to, of course it's a business. A business is of course to make a profit. But whenever you see your profits, when you are dealing with 10-15%, it's really also a passion, and also to probably to give something to your community. There's a bunch of new boutiques that have come out, and that because the stores have closed. And then I agree, and they have some probably different things, and probably it's a little more expensive, yes. But just look at the work they have put into it to belong to us, to the city. That's what we have to do. It's very easy when you have thousands of millions of dollars that whenever you raise a price, for example, just imagine a t-shirt in dealers, if you raise the price by 10 cents, just the millions that they're gonna get only one item. And seems to be that that's not enough anymore because they have grown quite a lot. So,
Yep.
I don't know, their expenses are too high.
You know, this is something that I also see is small businesses. A lot of people have so much locked up energy, a lot of ideas. A lot of people were thinking throughout, and you're not gonna stop that American entrepreneurship.
No.
And it's not gonna happen now.
No.
And people are going out there to rent new spaces and so on and so forth. And I talk to people. You know, we talk, and they say, you know, I'd rather open it up in San Antonio. I'd rather open it up in McAllen. I'd rather open it up somewhere else. And I go, why? I go, the real estate agents here won't help you. And I go, what do you mean? I want to sign a lease for 5 years or for 3 years. And I ask them, can I have 2 months to start it up for me to paint, repaint, do everything? And they say no. But then in McAllen, they'll give you the 3 months. So, you know what? So is a real estate agency
is
being
greed?
stopped?
Is greed?
It's greed.
That's that. I mean, I guess that for too many years. I'm sorry to go back on. You know me for some time. Remember that last year we wanted to put an association of small businesses. Somehow, some people got the idea and did their own. God bless them. Hopefully, they help. Because in order to help, you need to do what are you doing it and why are you doing it. Number one. And bless them, and whenever they need help, more than glad to help. But whenever they do this, so we were spoiled by the city, thanks to the import-export business. And the custom house brokers trying to buy properties instead of cents for dollars. And that's how people increase the prices of the property. And thank heaven, thank God, and all that stuff. Right now, technology has helped you that, yes, right now there are some other cities that have had like already permits from the government to be the tax-free zone. The tax-free zone, which means that you can bring your import-exports to there and from there being dispatched. So everything is being done and accommodated. I mean, we don't really react. We won't have much time in order to really help our constituents. Why do our kids are living and doing all just for other people? We have excellent doctors, we have excellent attorneys, we have excellent lawyers in the case of my son, and they're working for people in other states. So we are not that dumb.
No, we're not. You're listen. We have a lot of talent in Laredo. We have a lot of great people in Laredo.
I agree.
And they're going elsewhere because the city of Laredo has gotten stagnant because of that. And you said the magic word, greed. The greed is there. They won't budge. They won't even. And you're like, wait a minute, let's do this. To me, I'm like,
but don't you? I
don't
don't want
understand
to
it.
blame only the government because this is a little percent, but I guess also the landowners. There's only 3 families that own all the property in Laredo. I mean, and that's I don't know. So in other places, in other borders, because there are more lenient, I guess. So there are different owners, and in here they kind of control that. As far as I understand, as I've been told by the real estate agents, by this and that and all that. No, and I guess that all they communicate, like I say, by the red phones back in their house. Yes, this and that. You know, like they're doing something like that, and that's beautiful because we need to grow. We need to grow, but the right way, the correct way. If we have not learned about the pandemic, why don't we act like irrational animals? All the animals protect their herd. In here, they don't protect us. And we're human beings.
I'm glad you talked about animals. In every animal group, whether patriarch or matriarch, they get the leader is the bravest, is the smartest, is the one that's going to go up in front, is going to face danger. We're the only ones that elect idiots.
And they have their own...
And we're the only ones that elect people that they're like, wait a minute, how did you get involved? I mean, how are you up there now? I mean, you're like, really? You're going to do what? The first time they cowered, you know, under their desk, calling to you on a Zoom. I mean, please, you know, I mean...
It's sad, but it's true.
No, it's very true.
It's sad, but it's true. I'm sorry.
No problem.
It's supposed to be off, and it's off. But it's off.
But, you know, and I hate to say that, but we're the only species that elects the morons. And
I don't know,
some of them are smart, and they're smart that they got in there, and they're smart for one reason, to go in there to turn it to themselves.
Do they have within themselves the willingness to help? Do they know what help means? Do they hire really people good for a position? It's like we have the comparison in Mexico. You know, doesn't really matter if you have a career or not. If your cousin is the president, sooner or later you're gonna be in charge probably of the health department without you knowing nothing, and that doesn't help anybody. So,
Well, Laredo's similar. Laredo's similar to that.
People that know, or people that at least want to work.
Laredo's similar to that. All of a sudden you see there, and all of a sudden you see the daughter of the guy that was holding the sign that can't count as the head secretary for this whole department, and you're like, okay.
Really good.
I mean, you see it. You see it. You see it.
Yeah, yes, I
You see it. But so you know, and I live in a beautiful city. I love Laredo.
I love Laredo too.
I love Laredo. Believe me, I love but right now it's time to understand.
But
what is
we
it.
know that I tried to give, and somehow what the people wanted it didn't come through. I got a lot of respect, and I thank you everybody. But are we being handled the correct way in order to grow? Have we explored what Laredo has? What Laredo has to offer to other people? Have we really explored those things? No, we haven't. So it is sad that we have not been able to explore what Laredo has.
Let me tell you this. We have some good people up there that are moving forward, and we have some good city councilmen, and I'll name the three of them, that call you. If you have a problem and you call and you say, you know what, this is going on, they return your call. And that is both councilmen, both the Dr. Martinez and Mercurio Martinez, and the other one is Vidal Rodriguez. And unfortunately, those are the only ones that when you call, they'll call you back and say, you know what, what's going on? If they don't know the answer, they're going to try to do something about it. The rest of them, they don't call back. The rest of them...
I don't know. I have the pleasure really by the restaurant of knowing all of them. And yes, and I have all praise them a lot because, you know, like,
sure,
they're kind of your bosses in a way. You know, you have to...
They're not my bosses.
No,
they're not my bosses.
No. But I think they represent your city. So you have to look at them with kind of a respect. That's what I meant. So I'm very proud of them. But whenever you know you do something and ideas come down and without being asked, it's sad because we pay taxes more than a lot of people, and not to be considering decisions and not to be able to take criticism well or right is not. We're not doing this to putting them down, at least not me. But you're afraid even to talk nowadays because whatever I saw and I see is not what I really believe in order to change the city. I do believe that there are a lot more good people than bad people everywhere else. The bad part about it is that the bad people make a lot of noise, and the good people don't make noise. It's like right nowadays, if you don't get good service or good that, they just turn around, they don't come back, they won't even complain, they don't care the unit relations. And we, the old ones, we don't care either. You know, because if you go once a month, and you are treated bad, but you just don't come back because by the next time you have like 11 options, will be a year and a half before you go back. So it is what it is.
You know, you're absolutely correct. A lot of people, when you see bad service, they're not going to return. Okay? And that bad service resonates throughout. Well, we also have bad service in the municipality. When you go pay water, the way they treat you, it's been that way, but you have to go use them anyway. When you have, you know, we pay our police department grand, and believe me, we have some great badges, we have some great police officers. But there are some in there that when something happens, they treat you like if you're the criminal. You know, so, you know, a lot of people, you know, I saw this the other day, they say, you know, we pay our police the most in Texas, they're the best paid, and well, okay, they deserve it. But if you're paying for 5-star, and you're getting a half-star service, there's something wrong. And that, to me, is very... There's a lot of things that the police has been lacking. Has been lacking. You guys are getting paid very well. We'll protect you. We'll back you up in whichever form or fashion you need to. But treat the people correctly. Look at what happened during COVID. Look at the way they behaved. I mean, it just resonated how they hate, you know. This is something, and I'm going to use this term, I've seen them I've talked to them. I used to teach them. I have friends, family, brothers at the lodge that are badges, and the vast majority say the fucking civs. What kind of attitude is that?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
It's
you're like,
honest.
yeah, you know, we have to change. That attitude we have to. I don't know.
Don't you think that, I've been thinking about it, don't you think that some of the people that are working in the government have lost their own trust and their own education, thinking that they got the job just, I don't want to say that they got the job because they knew somebody inside or somebody helped them win, that they have lost their trust in themselves, and that they think that if they don't follow those rules, they may not be having that job or that position. I think it has to do with a lot of that, you know, like, I mean, I have told them, you know, some of them are very nice, and that's why probably they were hired, but if you find out that it's the niece of the cousin of this, and it's incredible. There are, like you just said, there's a lot of people, a lot of our kids have been doing a damn good job out of the Laredo. I don't understand how can they be good outside, but bad in here, I don't believe so. So I think that a lot has to do with, I've been thinking and say, my God, you know, they have lost confidence in their own selves because they may think that they got their job because they know somebody's there because of their own education and of their own values. That's the only thing, because it is sad. You know, I think that Laredo has created another, that just learned this, by the way, has created another position. All the people that help, the people that are running a campaign, that's another group of their own, that they get hired and they make money every 2 years. And that's the same people that run for this, that run for that, or help for this, or help for that. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, the election has always been this way for the longest time. Nothing has changed in Laredo for the elections. And if you look at all the elections and the troubled elections, and you start looking at them and start deciphering, you're going to find out that it's the same names that do the recounts. It's always the same names. It's always the same people that are in there. So there's something wrong.
Yeah,
You have to change
but
it.
don't you? That's what I'm saying. Don't you agree that we said it last time, the first time that I met you, we're not a town anymore. You cannot get away with the same type of tricks. I mean, cleaning the streets. The bridges, the cleanliness, the way the people make lines, the control of everything is still the same. I had people came in from Mexico because, you know, the abuse of the vaccine, and I believe they made the reservations through Walmart, and they went to San Antonio. So they stopped in here to say hello, and they drove. They said, Celestino, we haven't been here in 20 years. It's still the same. And I said, well, I guess you get used to live here. I don't know.
No, it is still the same. People still say the same thing here. It's always trying to occult the truth. Vamos a taparle aquí. This is not happening. Let's stop this. And then everywhere else, it's going astray. You know, they showed the crisis with the bridge. I understand why people want to come to the United States. It's a #1 country in the world. It's the best country. Number one. It's a beautiful country. But we cannot take away the facts that are going on. We cannot say, oh, it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening, you know?
No, it is.
It is happening.
And YouTube platforms and all that technology, there's a lot of eyes watching us. I believe so.
You know, it's a lot of people there that, listen, the city of Laredo, we have some good people inside. The councilman, everybody that I saw and everybody that I interviewed within the last campaigns that I've seen, they have a good heart. They want to do something for the community. I guess once they get involved inside as there, sometimes it just gets stagnant. They can't do anything. They think that they're going to be able to do it, and then they find out they can't do it. And if they can't do it, even though they mandated to do it, they pass it as the rule for it to be done, and it's still not done, then you have something wrong with the directors of each department. And so, as a true manager and everything else, they have to do a cleanup completely. And I say that you have to clean it up for it to go forward.
I have heard you say that.
And you see the same people there. You see the same people that caused havoc 20 years ago are still causing havoc now.
No, for example, I
And
have
you're like, what the
a
hell?
nephew that a friend. I told you, if I told you this from a friend of mine in Houston. They went to school with me over there, and he was a district attorney. I mean, he did a good job. That I don't know. He stayed there for 3-4 years, and now he is working for the federal government in another level, another position. So people don't like to stay there for many years because they want to go ahead in salaries and be promoted and be promoted and be promoted. And in here, you don't promote people to other places. They just like,
Yeah.
there's no promotion at all.
You know, so there's a lot of things that have to be done there, and they have to start paying attention to the citizens and not to their make-believe citizens. Watch what I'm going to say.
That's very smart.
They have to pay attention to the citizens of Laredo and not to these so-called fantasy town hall meetings that only the same department shows up, their brothers and sisters show up, and their cheerleaders show up, and yeah, you all are doing a great job. No, start paying attention to the family in there.
And
We
they
have some good-
criticism well.
We have some good people there. We have some.
Agreed.
They've done some great
Agreed.
stuff. I think they got hit pretty hard. You know, some of these people aren't fighters. You know, so they got hit and they got shaken up, and they're still shook up. And some of the fighters out there are standing up. They start listening to the community itself. And you're going to start seeing a lot of opportunists start merging, just kind of like the Civil War.
Yeah.
The Civil War ended, and you had a lot of carpetbaggers come down and
Oh, yeah.
take advantage. You're starting to see those carpetbaggers here. I call them opportunists. Start taking from others and start building
But we
upon
have
others.
had some of them for quite a few years now.
You know what I'm saying? So now the COVID is going to start showing you the opportunities come of age. And before, since they don't come from the north or like carpetbaggers, they're the ones from here. And you're going to start seeing that go. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So people out there need to take care of themselves.
We have to help each other.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's probably what the pandemic left us. Give a hand to get a hand. I mean, like I told you before, look at the animals. You just have to behave more irrational. Because rational didn't do for us.
No,
Didn't do for us.
no.
As
So,
a human race.
absolutely. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And
For
it's,
you sabes cómo pienso yo. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure coming to you. We
Okay.
learn, and we have to start learning. Believe me, to take criticism well.
Absolutely.
After all, the criticism is to grow and to be better, not to put down any people.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel.
And folks, you guys be safe, stay safe, subscribe, share. You know, we will have a couple of events coming soon. We're going to have a couple of things that we're going to start putting together because we've done some good stuff in the past with our leaders that we have in Laredo. And believe me, we got some great leaders. But they've lost in the commotion. But let's get them on track again because there's a lot of stuff that we've done, and there's a lot of things that we've changed in Texas from meetings from things that was astray, ending up in a good spot, and you'll see those because we're going to be posting a little bit about it, and it's going to change the fact of how children are taken care of, and it's going to stop changing. Hopefully, parental alienation in the
And it'll be
future.
good. Why don't you promote in your page that to start for them to start sending you what their kids are doing, where are they working? If they are working in Washington, if they are working in Florida, if they are working in California, to start sending my son works here and does this. My son is good because I think we have to evaluate those people and thank him very much because we need them back to help change Laredo.
Absolutely, absolutely. So next time, peace.
Today, in America, more than 5.5 million men, women, and children train in a martial art regularly. Buitrón Academy has been serving Laredo for over 30 years now. Our adult classes are geared for producing the best in you, teaching you street-ready techniques. With the arts of Savate and Kinpo, you'll learn the traditions of these sciences of combat as passed down professor to student.
Bonjour, friends of Professor Buitrón. The COVID-19 scare is almost over. Be sure to bring the kids back to the professor's training and help them build their bodies, self-respect, self-confidence, and self-defense. The professor is a very competent and amazing man of several talents, aside from being a lovable teddy bear and a funny man. Get back to the studios. This is Sam Booth calling from Phoenix, Arizona. Have a great training. Bye for now.
Hello, my name is Manuel Lozano. I've been trained in the martial arts for close to 50 years. I trained in many martial arts from different masters and grandmasters throughout the years, from the 70s all the way to now. I've known Professeur Buitrón for about 30 years. He has done the same, trained in many different arts with many masters. He's traveled all over France, studying with surviving Savate grandmasters, did his research. This man not just knows the fighting techniques and the art, but the philosophy, the history and the strategy and applying this arts combined with all the other arts. So this man is a wealth of knowledge for anyone seeking instruction in real martial arts and street martial arts. This is the school to go to in Laredo, Texas. For those of you who are away from Laredo, this is the guy to look for. Okay, he's very well versed in all the fighting styles of the different arts he is trained in, and I would highly recommend the school.
Hi, this is Mike Lackery from San Antonio, Texas, home of CMOC and the Wing Chun Boxing Academy. I'm here to tell you about my good friend Paul Buitrón. He is reopening his school in Laredo, Texas. Paul is a wealth of knowledge. I've known him a long time. I highly suggest everybody in that area get with it. Go down there and train. Times are getting tough here. And with this COVID-19, we need to support local business. So I highly suggest go see Paul Buitrón at the Don Zaru Sabat Academy in Laredo, Texas. You will not regret it. Be good.
Come train at the best kept secret of Laredo. Give us a call for your free evaluation at 956-401-4868 or check out our website at savat.biz. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook.